Hi, so I'm gonna tell you how I deal with people who never share the same feelings right back, or they're just someone who don't reciprocate myself. So as I said, I'm aromantic, but people have been also telling me that I just like they attack my sexuality online because when I was like using those like apps for fun last time, which I'm not on any now, I had people who was like saying like, but you aren't like asexual or something, and I want to know that I'm proud of who I am and I've had enough of people and they're bullshit, so I'm happy alone. And for being aromantic, I feel like I still have attraction to people, but it's not really deep, so I can still identify myself as aromantic, but I have fallen like for people like I would just tell them, hey, I like you and stuff, and usually it's like they feel the same. But like recently I had people, when I tell them that, they will always mention some other girl or someone else, and usually obviously it hurts for me, and I always had my way. Ever since I was young, I would always like, okay, I like someone, I can like hang out with that someone. I think for me, like, it's just very, in a way that like I enjoy the company and stuff. But when I experienced that, I feel like I cried because especially if it's a guy, and as you guys know that I always like guys also, and even though I'm leaning towards girls, I just think that with guys they're so like, it's already like lustful or obsessed that they left me obviously. And but I just found that it was a very tough time for me, and I couldn't understand what to do because I wanted to know how to like ease myself from the pain, because that person that I like mentioned some other girl, and how he literally said to me that like he really liked her and stuff, and I think I was confused and I was unsure about myself, and now I'm not unsure about myself. So I was always anxious around people rejecting me, and I do feel avoidant because I feel like I have such a low self-esteem, or I'm very affected of how people see me, and it's around like just normal anxiety sometimes, and just normal like depression, or just feeling sad about myself and being unsure. So it's under the category of like personality disorders, or like just very unstable sense of self. And I was struggling, and I realized what I can learn from that is, I thought I could learn nothing because I was very hurt by men, because even so, if I got my way, I was still being like not loved and taken care of like properly, which is why I enjoy being single. But the thing about someone mentioning someone else, and what I learned from AI, is that it's really not about you. If that person like likes you but still like prefers to be with another girl, or still obsessed with that other girl or that person, and like I want to be that person, or like in a romantic sense, I think it's just so important to know that it has nothing to do with you. That's what I learned from. So if you ever feel like you're rejected by someone, like, you have to know it's all coming from that person. So think of it this way, that I am just love, and I may feel upset that this person rejected me, or this person prefers someone else. I think it's just their own thing, and it starts starting to be taken personally, and I was very hurting. Maybe sometimes I'm still hurting because I always feel positive about people, but I think it's important to like know that people are just themselves. It seems wrong to be compared to other people, and it is wrong. It is wrong, but you have to know that that is just how they cope with themselves. Because if you share your love with someone else and immediately they mention some other person, it's not right. I think it's just so important to know that if it's reciprocated, it's okay, it's good. But because I have a perfectionist brain, I was thinking, why her? But the thing is, you are still loved on your own, and this person can be alone, and they like you if they let you stay in your life, and if they don't and they want to be with that person, it's just how it is. Like, that's how, like, people are like demon possessed or just obsessive. Like, I understand what's not to be obsessive because I have OCD, and it's something that just keeps appearing in my mind a lot of times, and it's not to be compared to. Like, you are love and nothing else is better than you, and I still struggle to see that. But that is how rejection is. It's always gonna be back to yourself. And I also learned from, the way I think is very skewed sometimes, and I think about it, and then I'm like, it has to be about me. It's how I'm going to read self-love affirmations, and no matter how anxious or sad I feel, I would be like, I'm going to be alright. Because I have been in a crisis where I felt like I was so anxious about men, even just thinking about men or being around men physically, that I just have like very like fight mode. But after a while, I realized what I'm thinking about is not in reality, and I'm always going to be safe. I want to tell myself that I could be like in a real situation with a guy, but I can just be protected by knowing what I'm gonna do if that guy ever hurts me. That is what I learned, because I think anxiety revolves around the worst case scenarios, and I also tend to see a lot of random things and think about random things, so I realized that I can take action and be where I'm supposed to be. And the next thing is that if you can't really feel loved, you can always know that you will find love in another person, another animal or something, just somewhere where you find joy, and it doesn't have to be revolved around a person. Because I know it's hard when you really love that someone and you want that person to be with you, but the thing is, if you can't feel right, if you can't feel loved at all, and I struggle with apathy, so sometimes I do have happiness feelings, and after a while I'm like, I don't feel anything, I don't care about anything, and then I realize that I feel I need someone to be okay, and I know it's quite dependent, but I need someone to be here for me and love me genuinely. So that's just how it is. And for me, I have my bear, Winnie the Pooh, but besides that, I have myself. And people think I'm very independent, and it's not like I don't need anybody. I do find support in my online friends, or just finding calmness in everyday moments. But it's important to just know that you are also your own person besides the other person around you. Like, yeah. And then you also have to know that with someone, if that person is going to be there for you, it only has to be through their efforts and never their words. Because people can say a lot of things, but when they do it, it's like they just don't want to do it. So that person is like manipulating you, and it's important to just find someone who shows up for you, and not someone who just keeps saying I love you, or because that could be like love bombing, or that could be anything. But I kind of had enough that I realized being someone who puts in effort, like showing up for you, being there for you physically, like next to you, is the best thing that can ever happen. Yeah, so I just want to let you know that was how I deal with rejection, or just feeling normal upset, or normal intense emotions that can't be controlled. So whatever it is, I think it's important to know that you are definitely worthy of love. I am going to think that is one of the self-love affirmation, and that you will always know where you belong, and you also know where you don't belong. So in the end of the day, you win.